rise and join us in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Moines County Board of Supervisors, July 23rd, 2024. Are there any changes to the tentative agenda? I have none. We have an agenda. Meet with department heads and elected officials. Sarah Doty, Des Moines County Auditor.
Good morning. Not a lot of new things to report at this time, just keeping busy as usual.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Colin Durst, IT.
Good morning. Keeping a little extra busy here this last week. I had a lot of fun time there Friday morning, most of the day Friday. Thank you guys in my office for kind of really getting to it and getting as much done as they could there on Friday. I appreciate the department heads having patience with us as we kind of got things back online. But other than that, just keeping busy like always.
Thank you, Colin. Kevin Gundini, Des Moines County Sheriff.
Good morning. A couple events happening this week. It's county fair, so you have the opportunity to stop out there and see what's going on. Plenty to see out there, and then we have Rag Ride coming through on Saturday, so I think we are all pretty well prepared for that event, and we'll have a very busy Des Moines County and especially downtown Burlington on Saturday. But other than that, our jail's at 89 this morning, and we're up to 20 out of county. But we're working on those numbers. We have some room back at the jail, so we need to break that. That's about all I got.
Thank you, Sheriff. Rodney Bleesner, Maintenance Director.
Good morning. I sent an email to all the state employees, but the general public elevator is down right now here at the courthouse. So talked to Kone yesterday. They were supposed to be here yesterday, but they told me they would be here today. They got pulled the motor off of it. They got another one ordered. I think it's in Ohio, so I'm not sure how long it's going to take and how long it's going to take to get here and get in and get back going. But if anybody needs the elevator, we got some signs out. A lot of the departments have keys, so if you can catch one of the maintenance staff or courthouse security if somebody needs assistance. Also, there's signs with numbers to all the departments that somebody can call for assistance. We can still use the old crate elevators, so just a little bit of an inconvenience until we get things, the general public elevator up and going again, but everybody's doing good so far. Been through it for a couple days, and it seems to be working okay. We're getting more steps in, so working the county wellness program really well.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So, other than that, I want to thank Colin and his staff. I really didn't even know we had too much of an issue with computer stuff. Ours was working when we come in the morning, so those guys always do a great job. So appreciate them keeping us going. So other than that, nothing else new to report.
Thank you, Rodney. Jared Glasser, Land Use.
Morning. Well, we've been keeping busy. I think it's a lot of busy time of year for new inquiries for land use, various kinds. But for agenda today, it looks like I got a fair amount of the agenda covered with the text amendment to the ordinances and then a subdivision. So I think I'll just hold my time for that. So.
Thank you, Jared. Chris Lee, Conservation Director.
Good morning. Just kind of keeping on. Summer camps are winding down. I think we're into our last 2 weeks of summer camps now. And so they've got an adventure camp going. They had a thing at the shooting range yesterday we helped out with. Did some gun safety introduction and some target shooting. And then, I don't know, but they were just maintaining the parks. We had a lot of people. We got a couple groups from Ragbri that have put up a big hollow, I think. So looking forward to Ragbri coming in this weekend. Looking forward to the river heading back down, which is kind of nice. It's heading in the right direction now. So hopefully we'll salvage a little bit of our boating season.
Thanks, Chris. Janelle Nally-Longquist, Des Moines County Treasurer.
Good morning. We're just busy preparing for that tax file to roll over, and we'll start that billing process again. And I do want to thank Colin It's tough when everything, as everybody knows, is left up to computers this day and age. So thanks for getting us up and going, both Friday and yesterday. And yeah, we didn't have to turn too many away, but we did the best we could. So we appreciate your department. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. That it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Ken Hyman, Mental Health Agency of Southeast Iowa.
Good morning. Not a lot to report today, other than we do thank Colin also. The IT was in our department also, just making sure everything was running right. So we're thankful for that. There is a town hall scheduled for this Thursday at 3 o'clock, but it's a virtual town hall, and I think that's not so much for the behavioral health system, but for the area agencies on aging. So not a lot, just normal business this week.
I remember, I'd forgotten last week, but I remembered this week to bring the Optimate t-shirts to my fellow board members.
Oh,
That we got a couple weeks ago, so.
yeah, great.
Don't let anybody dull your sparkle, Jim.
Yeah.
They have a sentiment on the back of them. Natalie Stepner, Des Moines County Recorder.
Good morning. I too would like to thank Colin and his team. I think they had us up and going Friday morning. I wouldn't have known anything happened if I didn't read it online and hear about all the airline cancellations, so thank them. And otherwise, just business as usual, nothing new to report.
Thank
Hey,
you.
I didn't pay my cable bill, so my cable's out at my house. You wanna take care of that for me? Thanks, Colin.
I think he needs to go work with it.
Make sure you get on that right away, chainsaw.
Take your chainsaw with you.
Angie Vaughn, Safety Director.
Poor Colin. I would thank Colin and his team too. I've been pretty thrilled to have them as part of our IT anyway. But they really stepped up and impressed me with all the work that they put in, how well they handled that situation. Not everyone has done quite so well with it. So this week, kind of business as usual. I do have a work comp insurance meeting after this meeting today, so we'll talk about all our goods, bad, and uglies. I'll bring the information with me next week and let you guys know how the county's doing and what's all going on and any updates we might have. Other than that, that's about all.
Thanks, Angie. Shannon Prado, Emergency Management Coordinator.
You know what? I have nothing to say.
That's a good thing.
I'm not gonna jinx it. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna give you a thumbs up.
I'm gonna jump right in and say thank you, Shannon.
Business as usual.
Krista Poggemiller, Local Health.
Good morning. I also want to thank Colin. We kept him kind of busy on Friday. A lot of our immunization tracking is kept online and he kept us going Friday, so appreciate that. Busy week for us. County Fair, as Sheriff mentioned, starts this week, and so we set up this morning already. We set up the first aid table out there, and we're there Tuesday through Friday. And then our immunization clinics have gotten very, very busy. People are starting to gear up for school, so we're pretty busy all day long on Tuesdays, so encourage anyone that we do appointments as well as we do walk-ins, so anyone that needs to get kids ready for school, come and see us. And then last week was the Board of Health meeting, and there was a public health building update that's coming along nicely. It's really, each time I go out there, they're making good progress, so excited about that. We have a maternal child, the state subcontracts maternal child through Lee County, and so they had a presentation last week and updated the board. Also, the board's been working on a vaping education signage, and I think we finally have gotten that final draft ready for that, so we're hoping to get that in place in the very near future. And then they also received the correspondence, I think that Jim had mentioned that the board received about the EPA, and it had to do with the public comments on the statements for the AOC 7 site-wide groundwater plume, as well as the SWMU 28 public input, and the Board of Health has decided to write written correspondence to that, so we'll get that sent in.
Thank you, Krista. Brian Carter, Secondary Roads.
Good morning. Two big bridges are moving along, I'd say kind of slow but steady, but they are making progress. So those are coming along, and the guys are about wrapped up on the Rock Spring Bridge. They poured the bridge deck last Friday. So doing guardrail, and then we'll start working on the site shaping. I would think it might be done now there by the end of this week or early next. So that'll be one I'll get you guys down to sometime. And yeah, we're working on a lot of plans for next year now. Everything's gotta be submitted for the DOT to start reviews. So Devin's been working on that, and of course, fair's going. Yeah, thanks to Colin, we were hit or miss. It was kind of a coin flip in our office whether you were working or not. So they came out and got things moving and are still working on one to get it going. So appreciate him working on that. And otherwise, plenty of stuff going on. But
Any idea on the end date for opening for the Upper Quint Bridge?
no, I wouldn't dare project right now. I'd still probably say sometime in mid to late September if I had to give somebody a guess.
If I did, that was my guess.
Yeah, that's
So good.
that's about the best I'd give somebody at this point. They gotta keep on working and keep on going, and yeah, so that's my hopes, sometime in that time period.
Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Either of you gentlemen?
I don't have anything, I'm just thinking, Brian, that we better get that open, because there's a lot of golfers that got cut over there going up to Flint Hills.
Yeah, they're more likely to be boating on the river here shortly than they are to be running through there right away. So they'll appreciate it when it's done, I'm sure, but it's gonna be a little bit.
Thank you, Brian. Correspondence. Do either of you gentlemen have any correspondence?
I have none.
Well, I've got the public notice, the EPA public notice that Krista mentioned. It's about the public comment period and public meeting for the statement of basis of Burlington Northern Santa Fe BNSF Railway Site, West Burlington, Iowa. The EPA Region 7 invites the public to comment on the statements of basis for AOC-7, the site-wide groundwater contamination plume, and SWMU-28, the former perchloroethylene facility at the BNSF West Burlington site in West Burlington, Iowa. The statements of basis describe the proposed remedies to address the contamination of groundwater at AOC-7 and soil at SWMU-28. The public comment period will begin July 15th, 2024 and end September 15th, 2024. Send all written comments to Dan Gravitt, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, Region 7, 11201 Renner Boulevard, Lenexa, Kansas, 66219. Email gravatt.dan@epa.gov. EPA encourages the public to review the statements of basis and the administrative record, which provides supporting information for the proposed remedies at the following locations during normal business hours: the Burlington Library at 210 Court Street, or the EPA Region 7 Record Center at 11201 Renner Boulevard in Lenexa, Kansas, 66219. EPA will hold a public meeting on Thursday, August 15th, 2024, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Burlington Public Library to provide more information and answer questions about the proposed remedies. For more information, please contact Patrick Hurley, EPA Region 7 Community Involvement Coordinator, toll free at 1-800-223-0425. This will be obviously available for the press if they want.
I've already seen the
Oh,
report at the library. I haven't, it's long. Okay, we will proceed to discussion and vote. We have payroll reimbursement claims in the amount of $1,388.08.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah,
Shannon Campbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. And we have the first public hearing to amend Des Moines County subdivision ordinance number 29 and Des Moines County zoning ordinance number 34. These are primarily housekeeping. There's one small change on variances on one. I think Jared's probably prepared to address that.
I'll give a quick summary here. So two of the changes, one for subdivision, one for zoning, are both, like you said, pretty much housekeeping, just to things that weren't noticed at the time the ordinance was updated a couple of years ago. One was simply the use of the wrong word, Board of Supervisors instead of Board of Adjustment, which could be inferred pretty easily, but this just cleans up that language, that was which board they were meaning to refer to there. And then the other one, there was a reference in the subdivision ordinance to waiving the CSR provisions, which previously applied to the corn suitability rating for the prime ag land, which there was a provision that prohibited the subdivision of prime ag land for residential uses, and that the board decided that should be removed. At the time, that there was no interest in maintaining that requirement. However, there was this one little reference to that in there that did not get removed when it should have, so this is just, we actually did have a landowner that asked us about that, and that brought us to our attention that was still in there, and like we said, okay, that doesn't apply in this case, but for future reference, if people are reading through there, this will make sure that any obsolete reference like that is removed. And then as you said, there is that one more substantive change for the zoning ordinance where currently the agricultural zoning district has a slightly higher setback requirement for new home construction than the R1 residential district. So this is basically changing it so that the requirement is the same as with the residential district. So I think the intent of the ag district is to maintain the agricultural character of the area, even if there are homes allowed. However, we already have a higher minimum lot size and lot width, which would apply more at the subdivision stage than when somebody's ready to actually build. And so in this case, if you have a lot that's 2 acres, but it's got some irregular topography or other limitations, if somebody wanted to build way on one side of the lot as opposed to the other, this would allow for the same standard as if they were building in the residential district. So we think that's just fair in terms of giving them some flexibility there. And that is because there were a couple of instances in the past 5 years where a variance was requested related to the agricultural district, and so this is also just a way of ensuring that we don't have to follow through that process again if that comes up in the future once more. So if anybody has any questions about those, that's pretty much the gist of it.
But once you go through that, we need to open a public hearing. If I can get a motion.
Yeah, I move to open a public hearing.
Second?
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Aye.
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. Have you received any written or email comments about this?
I have not received anything in the auditor's office.
Is there anybody in the audience that has any comments? And I should have done this earlier. We will give you 2 minutes to either email the Board of Supervisors at board@dmcounty.com, that's BOARD@dmcounty.com, or you can call 319-753-8203, extension 4. That's 319-753-8203, extension 4. Got 2 minutes if you have any comments on it, the public hearing. Is there anybody in attendance that has any comments?
I'll note that we did not receive any comments at land use either.
And thank you for sending that out to us. So.
Yep, no problem. And then it did go to the zoning commission. There was discussion of that at their meeting last month. I think that was all pretty clear what the intent of that was, that we kind of discussed some of in more detail of those variance situations that had come up. One of those actually would still have required a variance even with this change, but it would be to a lesser degree. It just kind of highlighted that, okay, even if that one wouldn't necessarily complete difference. That's still 2 instances in 5 years where somebody wanted to build closer than what our standard was. So we think if it's identical with the residential district, it just seems fair to handle it that way, so.
What causes your phone quacking?
We got a little time left here, we got.
Last one, I just wanted to, Tracy requested that you didn't change that. Tracy requested that you not change the sound effects.
Is that right?
As I
Why
recall.
now?
Huh?
Why now? Let's keep it.
Keep it?
You've gone too far, it's too late to
Gone
turn
too
back.
far, it's too late, yep.
It's one of the charming things about the Board of Supervisors, one of the few charming things.
That's all we've got, they haven't quacked.
I was gonna say, is there a list somewhere I didn't know about?
It's a very, very short list.
Tracy, and I know that, I thought about you this weekend, and I was
That's
setting
what
my
he did.
alarm, getting it all ready, and somebody shot my duck.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They shot my duck.
Colin will get you back up.
I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell.
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. Okay, you don't want this, you just want it stamped. First public hearing, or, I see you've got a note here.
I would say, let me print out one of those, or if they can have that copy of yours, have them stamp that.
The
Just
staff
the-
report, or?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'll label, because I don't think those should be, because they have the date on it for the approval date.
Right, yeah, because that was, I put the second date, if
I
we
just
could
didn't
change it to
have
third
that.
if that's not waived, so.
If you
Well,
want to
we've
give them
approved
that
the-
one, I can give you.
We've approved the first meeting, you can give us, you
Just
don't have to
stamp that
stamp
one,
that.
I'll write first reading on it.
Okay.
That's just for the hearing, there's a resolution that'll be at the last hearing.
It's got it. That's why I told him not to touch it.
Did we approve the first reading?
So we need to approve it.
I move that we approve the first reading.
Okay.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell.
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Somebody should be, yes, somebody should be up here paying attention. Okay, and we have another first public hearing regarding the dog ordinance. The first public hearing to amend the Des Moines County Criminal Code Ordinance number 6.
Move to go with public hearing.
Second.
Sarah?
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. I asked you if we've received anything. I'll go through the history of this shortly. In 2000, and that's for a timer, that's not for an editorial comment.
You better ask him. He might disagree with you.
I'm gonna try to get my duck back.
I guess it's his sounds.
The chairman was quacking today at the supervisor board meeting.
So, in 2016, there was a horrific attack on a 4-year-old girl by a group of dogs in rural Des Moines County, and it was horrific is the only word I can use to describe it, no doubt. And we did not have an ordinance to address that sort of thing. So it was, maybe we might have had as many public hearings on that as I remember having on any particular ordinance since I've been. We've had a number, and the county attorney at that time was patient with us. We'd go through it, and we had people coming that were unhappy. They did not want a leash law anyway, and so we went through for a few months by the time we got through all the public hearings. And in 2017, we passed a dog ordinance. And so that's that. In 2022, I got an email from Tim Scott and asked about the dog ordinance. So I just directed him to it, on the website and said thank you, and he had a thought, he wanted it so that if someone got bitten by a dog that was tested for rabies, he wanted somebody to be in contact with that individual to let him know how the test turned out, which, good idea, and we never thought of it. So, we were gonna have, amend the ordinance to say that. Oh, so I said, that's fine, so I went online to read the ordinance. Well, the ordinance that was posted was one of the intermediate copies. It was not the final ordinance we passed, and I recognized that immediately. So reach out to the auditor at that time to find the original one as passed, reach out to the county attorney. And so as long as we were gonna change it for the rabies notification, we started having public hearings, and we had 3 or 4, it was kind of hit or miss, we couldn't get everybody. And they also added, I think the original one said that to become a vicious dog from a potentially dangerous dog, there had to be 2 instances of attacking a person.
2
or
hearings.
2 hearings.
Right.
Which it wasn't what we really meant, we meant 2 instances. So that was changed. I think that was about all that was changed that came to me, and I read through it last night. But we could not get people together. So anyway, so this is the ordinance as originally passed, that had gone through all those public hearings, plus the change to the notification of the dog bite victim, and changing it from 2 hearings to 2 instances of potentially dangerous or vicious behavior. So, but other than that, it's the same ordinance that we wrestled with through 2016 and part of 2017. So,
It was not fun.
no, it wasn't, but we had a lot of people here, and it actually, it was great. It was not fun, but it was great having that many people take an interest in and bring all their thoughts, so. Same as last time, if you have any comments on this change to this animal control or dog control ordinance, you can call the board, or email the Board of Supervisors at board@dmcounty.com, that's BOARD@dmcounty.com, or you can call 319-753-8203 extension 4, that's 319-753-8203 extension 4. We'll give you 2 minutes to initiate that call or that email. Did you receive any email or written?
I did receive an email, it was just asking what we were gonna change in it because it hadn't been posted yet, and I explained to her the rules on timelines for posting, and I sent her the copy of the tentative approved copy, so.
You hadn't heard back? Okay. Does anybody in attendance have any comments?
I don't have a comment, but I do have a question.
Sure.
What's the process for documenting the instances to go from dangerous to vicious? Is it a report with the sheriff? Is it a report with public health? How do you get that? If I get bit out in the county, and who do I go to?
Well, you would go to the, if you get bit in the county, you would call the sheriff's office.
Okay.
Anyway, and there's a number, it goes through originally the definitions, and it defines potentially dangerous dog. Means any of the following: any dog which, when unprovoked on 2 separate occasions within a 36-month period, engages in any behavior that requires a defensive action by any person to prevent attack or injury when the person and the dog are off the property of the owner or keeper of the dog. B, any dog that when unprovoked inflicts injury upon a person. Or C, any dog which, when unprovoked on 2 or more separate occasions, has killed, seriously bitten, inflicted injury, or otherwise caused injury while attacking a domestic animal off the property of the owner or keeper of the dog. And then it goes to define vicious. vicious dog means any of the following. A, any dog which, when unprovoked and in an aggressive manner, bites a human being or inflicts severe injury upon or kills a human being. B, any dog which, when unprovoked on 2 or more separate occasions, and that's where we change it rather than, has inflicted injury upon a person. C, any dog previously determined to be potentially dangerous by the Des Moines County Animal Control Board, which, after its owner or keeper has been notified of the determination, persists in the behaviors defined in section B3 or is maintained in violation of section C and or G.
No, I was just gonna read the attack definition.
Yeah, what our procedure is going to be is we take the report, if there's animal bite, then we contact Angie Bond, who's the chair of the Animal Control Board. Basically pass on our reports and brief her on the situation, and then it's determined if there's going to be a hearing reference, that dog being potentially dangerous or vicious. On the rabies side, then we're in contact with the Department of Health and Krista, and then we do the testing that's needed to make sure that that person has Krista's office, and Krista make sure that they have the information they need to make sure that they're going through the right procedures for any rabies vaccinations that might need to take place.
So the ordinance has really helped us by setting up that process, and Sheriff's Office has been great about getting that information to us. So once that there has been a bite, we get the incident report, and depending on if the dog is quarantined, we reach out to the person that was bitten. If this is an animal that we're unable to secure and quarantine, either if it's an unvaccinated animal, it's quarantined at the animal shelter. If it's a vaccinated animal, we still ask that it be quarantined by the owner. And then they will monitor the animal, but if it's an unvaccinated animal, then we make sure that the animal doesn't show any signs or symptoms. And if it's an animal that we're not able to quarantine, then the recommendation from our Department of Public Health, which is now IHHS, is that people receive the rabies vaccine. And then we coordinate through, talking through them, talking to their healthcare provider, seeing what we can do to make sure that that's taken care of. And if it's someone that the animal's quarantined somewhere else, like animal shelter or whatever, we do the follow-up to make sure that those people are notified. That was one thing that was changed from that, so that they know the animal did not have rabies. Sometimes we recently had some incidences where it was someone that we had to actually take the sample to the state hygienic lab. And then weekend or whatever it is, as soon as we get those results, we call the person that was bitten, because they're very anxious, obviously, worried about the situation, and so we do that follow-up at our office.
Okay, I just want to give you the definition though real quick for attack, just to make this more clear. The definition for attack means an act that either by threat or physical contact or actual physical contact causes fear, pain, or injury to a human being or domestic animal, so long as the latter has not first committed such an act on the offending dog. So I just wanted to clarify that, the definition of attack.
And it protects property owners. It's got provoked defined as any willful trespass or other tort upon premises occupied by the owner or keeper of the dog. In other words, if you go on somebody's property, uninvited, trespass, or you stand on the edge of the property and tease the dog, any dog or any act of teasing, tormenting, abusing, assaulting, or threatening to act committed by a person or domestic animal against a dog or the owner or keeper of the dog. So anyway, so actually I read through this last night, and I hadn't read through the whole thing for been several months, and I think all those public hearings we had with the input we had, as I read through this, it looks,
we covered all our bases.
I-
And we did learn, because we had the one hearing, and we had a situation where the dog could have been euthanized. But because he had only, even though he'd had 2 incidents, actually 3 incidents, we'd only had the one hearing, because the incidents happened very quickly, one day after another. So we learned very quickly that we needed to make sure it was incidents, not hearings, so we could address the issues. But we do have the right to order that the dogs be very well confined and there's a list in there of exactly what that means. They have to be pinned, there has to be a top, there has to be a cement bottom, it has to be locked, the dog cannot run free. So if we feel that, the owners won't live up to their part of being a good pet owner, then we can do that to help protect the people around until,
I was pleased that I remember how horrible that attack was and everything.
it was.
That we didn't respond with a knee-jerk, ordinance, a month later. That sort of thing never works out well, so, anyway, I didn't hear your phone beep or quack or whistle.
Well,
I'm gonna assume the 2 minutes are up.
yeah. If we're ready to close this public hearing, I'll make the motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, unless you had any input.
No input here? Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Sarah?
Jim Carrey,
Yeah,
Shane Campbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes.
I'll make the motion to approve the first public hearing.
I'll second that.
Sarah?
Jim Carrey,
Yeah.
Shane Campbell,
Yep.
Tom Broker.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm gonna get a Boeing or a duck. I tried to do that.
You'll have to have Colin address that. We have a resolution 2024-39, the final plat of the Walnut Ridge subdivision. I suspect Jared is prepared to respond, lead us through this as well.
So it's pretty simple. It's a one-lot minor subdivision just south of Burlington off of Highway 61. There's currently a 54-acre farm property on the west side of the highway, which does contain an older house and some ag buildings. So that acre and a half is being split off with the house and the ag buildings to be sold separately, while the existing owner retains the farm field around it. So no new development proposed, it would just be selling that to somebody who would reoccupy that house. It has an existing access from the highway, basically right across from the east segment of Hunt Road, that intersection. And then, so that would be for the house. And then the farm field itself would retain access from the other segment of Hunt Road heading west from 61 on the south side. So this this is obviously very close to city limits, so it's in the 2-mile review area. The city did review that, and then the council approved it at their meeting a little over a week ago. And then no significant comments from our review as well, so this one's pretty straightforward. We recommend approval as submitted.
Move to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Shane Campbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. We'll sign all these for you. Okay, we have minutes for the regular meeting of July 16th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Sarah?
Shane Campbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. Any other business? I have one note here. We got some good news on the insurance. 2 weeks ago, I believe, whatever it was, they were here from ICAP. And we'd originally budgeted that for $535,000. And the quote came back at about $539,000. So they said if we made a couple changes, it would get it down to $535,000. Well, so we approved those changes, and it came back at $530,000. So it came back better than we thought. It'll be on the next round of accounts payable that come through here. So, That's, yeah, that's all I had. Future agenda items.
We're gonna have a work session on the comp board coming up, or?
Yeah, that's, if, Lisa isn't here, I was gonna ask her, when I read her email, it said that once those, if you have a comp board, once the comp board makes those recommendations, they can't be lowered.
Yeah.
That, and that isn't the way I read it in ISAC stuff, so I'm
I
gonna
didn't
reach
read
out to
that.
ISAC and see what, I would be concerned about just saying whatever they say is okay, and you get, and I don't know anybody currently on any of those boards or anything in the future, somebody come rolling in and said, we want to multiply it by X, and you have no, so I wanna check on that, so, it isn't a rush that we have to get anything done, but yeah, that jumped right out at me.
I seen that too.
I read that and I didn't read it that way.
I didn't read it that way either.
I did, I assumed it would change your views, I guess.
Yeah, it does,
I read it
but,
that way, too.
I was gonna reach out and email, I can't think of the guy's name for ISAC and ask him
Right.
that,
And
we
remove that language.
reach out with those legal questions and,
We went to the auditor school the, end of June. They explained that you guys could cut it any which direction.
and that's why, so it would make a difference, my opinion on it, whether it just completely, the way the county attorney read it, the only way you could cut a salary is if it was for the county attorney and they were going from full-time to part-time.
I didn't see that.
So, anyway, yeah, that's, we will leave that on future agenda items for, we don't have to do anything with it before the end of the year, but. Committee reports.
Well, Krista, give my, public health report. Thanks, Krista, I really appreciate you doing that.
You're welcome.
And it was a good presentation, it was really good, very, very well. And then I had a, executive board meeting with the, Southeast Iowa Crime Commission. And as you know, we looked for an operation manager, and we did offer the job to, a junior, he's a jailer up in, Mahaska County, he's been 22 years a jailer and transport officer, and, Robert, I can't hardly pronounce his last name, Dragonall, and, he's going to start, he's given his notice, and he will be our new operation manager for Southeast Iowa Crime Commission. And that's all I had.
Community action, we just had to vote on a couple of things to pay some money out, that's it.
I was in on the same online meeting with Krista on the public health construction, and the windows in the siding are still behind schedule. They've still got a few windows left to put in, but the plan is still, so they can still meet the owner occupancy mid-September, so we're still floating along on that understanding. And that's all I have. Public input, once again, if anybody from the public would like to address the board, you can email the Board of Supervisors at board@dmcounty.com, that's BOARD@dmcounty.com, or you can call 319-753-8203, extension 4, that's 319-753-8203, extension 4. We'll give you a couple minutes to initiate that email or that call. In the meantime, does anybody in attendance have any comments or questions?
Will you be able to, waive a third reading on those ordinance changes, is that?
It's my understanding.
As long as there's no changes in between?
Yeah, it's my understanding we can waive the third ordinance, that's what I understand from the county attorney. So that's, I'm sure I won't receive any opposition sitting up here to that.
The only thing on the third reading though, is if we do have it, the newspaper has to read it.
Okay, I
In the
got a big
record.
mouth out there.
That didn't even make her blink.
I guess I did forget to mention, we got that Chautauqua Park open house tomorrow night. Up there at the park.
And well, as you know, we received a couple comments on that, so, the last one I got, I sent him an email and encouraged him to attend that, so
Cool.
that'd be great.
I'll be sure what my contact.
When is it?
Tomorrow at 6.
At the Chicago Park, Wednesday at 6 P.M. Okay. Thank you, Chris.
I'd like to go there, but I get chewed out every time I go out there.
I can bring you some body armor.
Hey, I've got a funeral tomorrow at 6 too, but I'm curious about how that turns out, so, yeah. City eval.
Question.
Jared, go get your kid.
Natalie?
I think this person out here has a question.
You what? Oh, someone in what, outside was questioning. With an aye, we're adjourned.
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. What, there, yeah.